Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcasts, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians to talk about their lives, music, and craft beer. I hope you've been having a glorious month of February. We are already at the final episode of Vox and Hops Sober February 2022. What a killer month of sober content. I really enjoyed this month, and I have to give a massive props and a massive cheers to our sponsor, Pitch Black North, the Satanic Tea Company. Now, if you do not know who Pitch Black North is, let me tell you a little bit about them right now. They've been featured in the New York Times. Their slogan is Sin Now, Steep Forever, and Every Sip is Blasphemy. All of their products are ethically sourced, expertly crafted, and they are only created in small batches. They make specialty tea, but they also make coffee. You should head on over to their website, pitchblacknorth.com. That's pitchblacknorth.com. And check out their Satanic Chai Bundle. Bundle and save, sinner. You're going to get one bag of the Antichrist pumpkin spiced, as well as a bag of the coconut chai, if you pick up the Satanic Chai Bundle. If you do that, make sure to use the promo code, which the Satanic Tea Lord himself has created for you Vox and Hops heads. That promo code is VOX&HOPS15. That's VOXHOPS15, and you will save 15% off of your entire purchase. I love Pitch Black North, the Satanic Tea Company, so damn much. And if you were to pick up some products and use that promo code VOXHOPS15, you will not only be getting some killer satanic tea, you will also be supporting the podcast, which would be something that I would truly appreciate. Now, before we jump into today's episode, I'd just like to ask you to follow the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. But more than that, I'm asking you to tell a friend about the podcast. If there's someone in your life that you know just loves podcasts, you should absolutely tell them that the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast exists. You could tell them that there are over 300 episodes for them to check out on their favorite podcast platform. Now, if you were to encourage one of your friends to become a future Vox and Hops head, that would be something that I would truly appreciate. Now, on today's episode, I am with 3 Vox and Hops alumni who, since their time on the podcast, have now stopped drinking. Today, I'm with Gore from Erimha, Mathieu Bérubé from Teramobil, Unhuman, and Uncle Stalin, and Cory Hofing of Crimson Shadows and the We're Talking Drums podcast. Get ready, everyone. This is Vox and Hops episode number 328, which I have called Sober Alumni.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Today is a very special Vox and Hops episode. It is the final episode of Vox and Hops Sober February 2022, which is presented by Pitch Black North, the Satanic Tea Company. This is an episode when I was setting up Sober February. I wanted to do an episode like this. I wanted to return and connect with alumni that I've had on the podcast, past guests from the podcast that are now subsequently sober themselves. I've called this episode Sober Alumni. Today we are joined with Cory Hofing of Crimson Shadows and the We're Talking Drums podcast. We got Michel Lucier, Gore of Erimha. We got Mathieu Bérubé of Unhuman, Teramobil, and Uncle Stalin. How are you boys doing tonight?
Fantastic, man.
Doing great.
Pretty good, yeah.
I am very happy to be with you all. I'm very excited to connect with you. It's been quite some time that we've had a chance to hang out. Gore, you were episode number 4 of Vox and Hops, which is something just so cool that you were one of the original 10, the first 10 friends that I sat down with to talk about life, metal, and craft beer before I even released an episode. Matt, you were next on the block out of the 3 of you at episode 129. I remember going to your house. It was winter. It was cold. We enjoyed a Four Origins beer. Somehow I remember what beer we drank. And Cory, you were a early pandemic conversation, an early Zoom one, episode 147, and I don't remember what we were drinking, honestly, but it doesn't matter. Let's just jump straight into it.
I drank like 3 beers during that conversation for sure, so...
which we'll build up to and get towards that. Let's just dance into a shitty question the way I like to start off these episodes since we've been living in these wonderful times. How have you been coping with the glorious years, plural, of 2020, 2021, and hopefully not 2022? Let's go chronologically. Gore, you take that question, please.
It's been quite a journey because for me, being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, it didn't really have a huge factor play in my life. I decided to move to the country where I was, originally from, and I moved here with my wife, and we have now a son. And so it was weird. COVID was weird because I was diagnosed, I think, in 2021 after not knowing at all for a year. I was having problems at the same time having the birth of my child. So it was weird, but at the same time, I got to stay home anyways, and I'm paid with disability for life, so I stayed home anyway. So there wasn't a much change for me.
Being diagnosed MS, becoming a new father at the same time, those are massive changes. So it is you're not, and MS is such a strange thing, having been in a band with someone that had it, that got to a point that's very hard on his body. You're not quite sure what's going on at first. So were you ever wondering if it's just, I'm just a new father, I'm tired, and you didn't quite understand what was going on?
I did a lot of reading on my end, and I kind of found that, I had very similar symptoms to someone with multiple sclerosis, because my mom's friend is also diagnosed with RMS, which is a remission relapse. So it's not exactly the same as mine. She can have pretty much the same symptoms as me, but have it for a month and then go years without any, flare-up.
Wow, okay.
And me, on the other hand, I have progressive, so I steadily every day just progress. So yeah, it was different. It wasn't because I felt like I kind of knew it was something further than just my back pain that I thought, or being tired as a father. And I did my research, and I was like, listen, I'm connecting the dots. I've been going doctor to doctor. I saw one guy that was a physiatrist, I think, and he said, just watching me walk, he knew right away that it was this. So I got a brain MRI, and that's when I found out. So I kind of knew without having the answer, but I had a feeling, and it runs in the family too. So they say it's not hereditary. But my Aunt Susie had very progressive multiple sclerosis, and I don't think I've ever met her. She died way before I was born, so.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a change, but at the same time, I could see the beauty in it too. I get to spend all day with my son. I get to see him grow. I get to see him talk. I get to see him walk. I'm not working like a slave and not enjoying that part of being a father, and I get to see it all. So I couldn't ask for anything better, if I could say that.
It's an excellent mindset and vision on being stacked with such a huge obstacle in your life, and you've taken a very positive high road on that. So congrats on that. I appreciate that mindset very much. Matt, how have you been coping with these glorious, wonderful years that we've been going through?
Nothing like that. What can I say after that? But a lot of changes for me, but I'm not sick, so it's all good. But I decided to quit drinking. We talked before. I told you I did many drugs and shit, a lot of them. So I decided it was over. But I never had a drinking problem, but I had to quit drinking, to stop the drugs. So I gave myself at least a year without drinking. And it's going to be 1 year in 15 days, actually. So,
congrats.
yeah. And I lost 80 pounds too.
Wow.
So I got, man. And got my driver's license at 37.
Oh, you had never had it?
I never
before.
had it. Yeah. So, and I changed work. I changed pretty much everything.
Well,
So
good
yeah,
for
that
you.
was my year, and now I got a girlfriend, which I didn't have for a long time. I was a long time single because I was too fucked up all the time anyway. But yeah, wonderful woman. Fuck, it's crazy. All before my 40s. It's perfect because I know I'm gonna have like a fucking crise de la quarantaine. You know, I'm sure I'm gonna have
Midlife
that.
crisis. Yeah.
But if I would have, started that midlife crisis at 300 something pounds, fucking addicted to whatever, this and that, and fuck, it wouldn't have been cool. So I try to, make things better before I get to 40. So I want to
like
live.
rebuilding, restarting, refresh.
Doing shitloads of music all the time,
That's good. That makes me happy.
That's it. Yeah.
Congrats on that. Cory, how have you been tackling these years? I'm sure I actually asked you that question because it was the pandemic when we had our conversation. So how have you been coping since then?
Things have been good, man. Yeah, things have changed a lot since our chat. I forget exactly when it was, but it was June, the beginning of June 2020 when I decided to quit drinking. And it was kind of just like I woke up hungover one day, and then I just realized I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like it was I wasn't working, so it was like 3-4 nights a week I was just getting annihilated because there's nothing going on. Like I work in AV, so like everything got shut down. It was a very strange time. I've never not like had at least a day job or like bands like crazy busy, and like all my bands kind of like stopped doing stuff. We couldn't see each other, couldn't jam, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I just decided that's it. So since June 2020 is when I had my last drink, and now I'm actually close to 10 months without smoking as well, which is not something I ever thought I'd say because I've smoked since I was like 15. So
Smoking weed or cigarettes?
Cigarettes. Yeah, the only thing I do now is like a little bit of weed every now and again, just to take the edge off if I'm getting a little too stressed out. But not even then, man. I don't even do that very often. But yeah, other than that, man, like Crimson Shadows has a new record coming out. I was in Montreal in December, finally doing drums for that. So I'm super stoked on that, and working with a number of different bands, doing some fun stuff. So things are kind of moving along, and I'm really enjoying being sober for the first time since being an adult. So, yeah.
Well, congrats on all of that. I'll bounce right off of you on that question. How much do you think the impact of the pandemic had on your decision to become sober? You mentioned that you were not working, so you were drinking a lot more. Do you think had the pandemic not happened, would you have become sober?
I've given it a lot of thought, and I really think that this was something that needed to happen. I'd say probably the last like 3 or 4 years, pre-pandemic, it's kind of been an issue, and something that I wasn't happy with, my just lack of self-control when it came to my drinking. And I know my ex-girlfriend, we were together at the time, had kind of brought it up to me several times too. It's like when I got to a certain point, I would turn to her and be like, I don't like the person that I am right now.
Oh shit. Okay.
So like it was always kind of there, and then it was the pandemic that kind of brought everything out really quickly. Like 3 months in, and it was like, okay, no, this is a lot bigger of an issue than I previously thought, and there's no slowing down or cutting down, because that always came back to where I was. I'd cut down for a month or so, and then like it would always come back. So it had to be something that I had to just like quit, cold turkey essentially. And yeah, it was starting to affect my relationship, and like the way my friends viewed me, and this, that, the other thing. So it was like it needed to happen.
How about you, Matt? Do you think that you ever would have really pulled the trigger on stopping drinking?
I don't think it changed anything for me, because I kept working, because I work in renovation, so I never stopped working, and No, it was long due, man. Like I should have quit when, way back when we did shows together or something, because most people, they didn't know, but I would go on stage. I would have been up for 2 days, before that.
Yeah.
Not just drinking like crazy and doing shows, So it was like that all the time for a while. So no, I don't think the pandemic had anything to do with it at all. I wish I could say, yeah, sure. But no, it was just really long time due, man. It's a good thing.
100%. Because last time when we were together, you spoke a lot about you were running a bar and you were just out of control, and all of any money you were making at the bar was going directly into your
my
drug
nose.
fund. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's all right. I'm not even ashamed of that because, fuck it, it happened. Now it's better, so I'll focus on that. But yeah. Probably snorted half a house.
But now you're good.
Hey, I can fucking laugh about it.
Don't worry, I've been there.
So what would it be about you? You would start drinking afterwards, and then automatically your mind would sway towards
No.
I
My mind was set to do blow, and then I had to drink with that because you can't just and not drink. It's not good for you. Okay. You're gonna die.
Okay.
So that's it. Yeah.
You often get thirsty. Yeah, I know all that game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it was me. It was like 2-3 day binges. Me, I would never fucking stop. So, and I loved it. And I would mix blow with ketamine a lot and like a lot of shit. So yeah, it was really bad for me. And I didn't even quit on a hangover. It was just that day, everything was doing fine. And I was like, you know what? Let's not touch that shit again, ever. And I got to quit drinking for at least a year. And then after that, we'll see. But yeah.
Well, good for you. Gore, your situation is completely different, which makes it very interesting for the conversation.
Yeah.
What reasons, and I don't know the answer, and I didn't do any research beforehand, so I apologize for that. Having MS and drinking just doesn't go together. Can you explain that to everyone?
Inflammation, that's what it causes. So it can kind of do a flare up, what they call is like an attack. Basically when your body goes in complete MS mode and your spinal cord, which is kind of the core of your walking, your articulation, the way, it does a lot to your body. So, I mean, once I started drinking, it would do that to me. And it was around 2019 that I kind of figured that out by drinking and like, fuck, I'm not feeling good, man. Like, you're going to tell me 2 beers is getting me drunk. I would pound tons of beers, and it got to a point where it was weird to get drunk. And then now knowing that that's what I had, it was totally understandable why I can't do alcohol. And it's not because I quit consciously because I knew it was bad for me in that way. I didn't have a problem with alcohol. It's now like alcohol that's giving me a problem. So I just decided, to feel better with living with MS and to be able to go to my jams and write music. Being sober is probably the most creative part of my life that I've ever had, right, for writing music. I would have thought maybe I need to get stoned or I need to get fucked up to kind of write something or, get in certain vibe or perform a show. And now it's just like, that's not, you see the other side, it's exactly the same. So I found being sober now just a far better creative process.
I feel exactly the same too.
That's exactly was my next question, actually, too. I've interviewed a bunch of people this month to talk about this, and a lot of people come up with the vice or the idea, the habit, a self-enabling way of, I need this to be creative.
But we're not Motley Crue or fucking Led Zeppelin either, It's different. What we do is very different.
They had more time. But Matt did elaborate on that, on the fallacy. of believing that you need to be high or that you need to be inebriated to be creative artistically?
No, seriously, I was kind of stressed out when I quit everything, and I did the entire Stalin album almost sober when I recorded the guitars, and I already wrote everything when I wasn't sober. Like, I was really not sober, but that's when I realized it was okay. When I recorded the guitars, I was sober, and I was like, holy fuck, wow. I just, everything is perfect. Just, yeah, no fucking around. Just hitting these songs like crazy. After that, I was like, yeah, okay, sober it's going to be, man. Because before that, I was doing too many lines, and I was like stressed out kind of, and it's never perfect enough. And that's such a bad feeling, actually. And drinking scotch like crazy, and nah, it's not good. Now we do that in the afternoon, and it's like drinking tea actually, and smoke a little bit of weed, but really not that much. And yeah, so productive, man. It's crazy. Instead of recording at 2 a.m, all fucked up, and you think it's good, and then the next day you listen to it, you're like, this is shit. Yeah.
I'm seeing that resonate with you, Cory. Were you under the illusion that you needed to be inebriated to be creative?
No, not necessarily. Being a drummer, everything's always very physical. So I always hated playing when I was fucked up, and when I was playing for Johnny No Cash and the Celtic Outlaws, a big part of our thing was that we drank a lot. So even at rehearsals when we were writing and everything, there would be times where we'd get to the point where I could barely even hold my sticks because we were just drinking so much and having so much fun together. And they'd be super fun times and writing sessions, but I did find when I got sober that it was kind of a wake-up call on like, oh shit, like we have to tighten up as a band because, when we're all fucking loaded,
we're not as good as we think we are.
Exactly. We're having fun, right? But yeah, we were having fun, but like at the same time, like, you want to be professional as well. So yeah, but no, definitely I having a clear head, I think helps with the writing process. Just highly caffeinated. I find like coffee is my go-to when doing writing or anything like that.
Bounce off question. Johnny No Cash, you mentioned that you were with them. That means that you may not be with them. Did you have to step away from them because of the drinking environment? And I don't know the answer to this, and I did no research. I'm sorry.
No. We were together for probably a good 6 months throughout when I was sober, and like we were still jamming, everything was good, but Johnny decided he couldn't live in Toronto anymore, and he now lives in a van in the forest in BC.
By the river?
Yeah, no, seriously, he lives in a van by the river. He likes to be by water. So we're kind of on like an indefinite hiatus. And actually tomorrow we are releasing the last song that we did together, which was literally, we were in the studio a week before the pandemic hit in Michigan, and we recorded 2 songs, and this is the second one. That's like the last thing that we really did together as a band. And we'll see what the future holds, but right now he doesn't have any plans on coming back, and we're kind of, all kind of doing our own thing at this point. So, not sure what's going to happen with that project.
But you felt comfortable being in the band with the party drinking atmosphere. That's something that you've come to terms with.
I was completely fine with it. If the other guys were comfortable with me being sober for the long term is a different thing. Like if we were to go on tour, like actually hit the road, I don't know if they would be as comfortable with me being like essentially straight edge. So
Well, the driving would be safer.
I was always driving anyways, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I got lucky that I had a few members that are not drinking as well. So we're like 4 guys that don't drink at all in the band anymore, or we're just pot smokers. So that is going to be fun for rotation. We can all rotate for driving. So that's always fun. But if you're the only guy, well, you're fucked.
That's it.
You're the
Vox and Hops is all about hanging out with my metal friends, as you so well know, since you're all alumni, talking about their lives, music, and typically craft beer, but this is a sober February episode as we've been going through it, which is presented by Pitch Black North, the Satanic Tea Company, and the Satanic Tea Lord, as he likes to call himself, sent you guys some packages. So showcase what you guys got. I don't know if you all got the same tea. I'm drinking tonight Cryptopsy's NUN So Vile, the black lavender with hops tea.
I wouldn't be able to get mine because that'll just be a struggle for me to get from there to get the tea. So the one you sent me, I was hoping it was going to be the NUN So Vile because I really wanted to try that one. But the one I ended up getting was the Blood of Christ.
Yes.
It's a black tea with vanilla and coffee beans, which I really thought was good too. Yeah, so I really liked it, and my girlfriend loves it.
Amazing, because Satanic Tea Company also makes coffee. It's a new thing they've started last year.
Oh, really? Well, thanks for letting me know that. That's good. I'm a frequent coffee drinker, and I love coffee just for the taste more for than what it does to you, So, yeah, I would definitely look into that.
Massive cheers. I think, Corey, you got the same one as me.
I did, yes, absolutely. Yeah, the NUN So Vile, it's delicious.
What's in that tea?
Lavender, black tea, and hops. The story behind this tea is that me and Dominic, the guy that runs Pitch Black North, the Satanic Tea Lord himself, hit me up, and we got into contacting about doing a tea for Cryptopsy, and at the same time, I knew that there was a brewery in Calgary, and they're from Calgary, so we did like a 3-way collab. They made a beer with the tea in it, and this tea has hops in it. I love it. It's cool stuff. Let's talk about it's been coming up. I've been seeing it bubbling, talking about enjoying coffee very, very much. A lot of the time when people kick a habit, they replace it with something else, something healthier, something that is makes them feel good. I've heard a lot of people that are now become sober or no longer drink tend to become very into coffee. So Corey, take us on your coffee journey because I know you love it.
I do love coffee. I haven't been as into coffee as I want to be. My cousin actually owns a roastery out in Hamilton, so I want to get out there and like really dive into it a lot more and see the whole process. But I drink shit coffee most of the time, like when I was drinking
just lots of
drinking beer.
Folgers in a cup.
Yeah, when I was drinking beer, I drank like a lot of like Old Mill Ice, like shit beer, but then I'd have my nice craft beer. So I do, there's I think it's Kicking Horse coffee that I've been diving into a little bit. So that's kind of like my craft beer side of coffee, and they have like 4 different roasts that they have that are really delicious. So it's like my weekend type of coffee drinking that I love.
I love it. Gore, talk to us about coffee.
I was always drinking coffee way before this. I was diagnosed, and I was always a frequent coffee drinker. I can't remember what particular brands that I was getting. I would get them more from my dad. My dad is also a coffee fanatic, so he would always supply me with like good coffee every time I went to his place. He would make me a cup of coffee. I didn't ask questions. I just drank the coffee, and I go from light coffees to dark roast coffees to cappuccinos to espressos. I do the whole shebang. I really, really, really like it, but I don't have any particular brand in particular. But I drink whatever. You can give me Folgers and I'll drink Folgers. It doesn't bother me.
How about you, Matt? What would be something that you became more addicted to now that you're less addicted to other things?
Actually, I had to slow down on the coffee because of I think the blow did some damage to my heart or something. I used to be able to drink a lot of coffee and like a filtered coffee, and I actually had to buy an espresso machine because it's not as bad, and I can drink like two small espressos in the morning, and maybe one when I come back from work, like late afternoon, but that's it. Because if I have more than that, my fucking heart is like, and I used to do like a lot of drugs, man, and I was feeling great. But now, man, when I have too many coffees, and sometimes I grab like a McDonald's large coffee, and fuck, man, it's woo, man, I want to fly. It's crazy. I can't believe I did all the drugs all that time, and I was feeling okay. But now, after that, I quit everything. Fucking coffee fucks me up. So I drink water.
I'm telling you, from being a frequent drug user in my past, coffee is probably like the one that does the most. I think I drink a coffee and it felt like I was doing like 4 lines. It was ridiculous. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and it lasts long, and when you come down off of it is worse because you're like, it's like sugar rush. You know, like a big sugar rush when you come down off of it, you're like, fuck, I need a nap and a shower and maybe another nap. So yeah, that's because I really enjoy coffee and I love it. But yeah, so I buy a good espresso decaffeinated coffee to be able to drink a few more, you know. And I drink tea. I like tea too. Tea's pretty good.
Tea makes me feel real good. Love tea.
Oh, fuck, I love tea. Yeah.
Love it very much. This is like different questions. I'm going to segregate it differently for Gore. I have one for you, and then I'm going to start with these two guys, and then I'll come back to you with the same type of question, but framed differently because your context is different.
Framed differently,
Yeah. Cory and Matt, talk to me about if you could give advice to yourself back when you were not sober, if you could travel back and whisper the words into your ear, and let's imagine that someone that's listening to this right now hypothetically might need to hear this message, what would that message be? We'll start with you, Cory.
Slow down. I don't know, like it's very difficult because I had some really, really great times, and I don't know if I would change anything I did. Definitely just like keep it to a social thing, you know. That'd be the one thing I would say is like you don't need to sit at home and drink a case of wine, you know what I mean? Like you don't need to be doing that stuff. There's more productive ways to spend your time than drinking just for the sake of drinking. That's pretty much the big one. But like the whole social aspect of everything, man, I don't think I'd give that up. Like I had some of the best times of my life with some of the greatest people while getting the most shitty we possibly could. So, you know.
How about you, Mathieu? If you could go back in time and whisper in your ear.
Before I started getting fucked up?
That's an even better question, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have said, don't ever try coke. Never, ever. Don't even look at it. And that's my life would have been different. But as same as he just said, I had great times though. I would have loved to quit like halfway through that long journey, just for a health things and money too, and but I would have still had half of that trip, because the maybe the second half wasn't as cool as the first half. When I worked at Bistro Jojo, I would party with all these crazy musicians and like crazy wild parties. So that part was pretty cool when I was in bars, but the last years when I was back to renovation and I would get fucked up from Friday to Sunday, then get up and do my week of renovation. Fuck that shit. I would have told myself, just don't try the hard drugs. Stay with beers and whatever, get fucked up and vomit and, take a shower and everything will be all right.
This is for you now, Gore. If you could give advice, whisper some advice to a young metalhead that may believe that they are suffering from symptoms of MS, what would your advice be to them?
If I could tell myself anything or any advice for anyone else, just live it. Just I wouldn't want to change anything I did prior to my MS to where I am. I'm super happy. I had one of the best times when I was at Inferno Fest, and we got obliterated, but like for a weekend of time. It was insane. I don't think I've ever gotten that drunk in my life. So I wouldn't really change anything, because once you figure out you do have it and you know you have it, your life takes another path, but you learn to like that other path as well. Even though they're kind of separated, you enjoy this one, and as much you're going to enjoy this one. Times are going to be hard, but you figure out how to adapt so easily with having MS. For me, like, I have a walker, and I've learned to drive a certain way now. Things change for me, but you kind of adapt to that as well. So if I could any advice, like I said, I don't really have advice. I would just say the only advice I would give you is live as much as you can, because once you get to that point, you realize that you're somewhere else, and the things of your past you don't repeat. Even for like performing, for me, will be different. It will be in a wheelchair now. It won't be me standing up being the person I was. So it's different in that aspect, but you learn to love with it as well anyways.
Is that something that you do imagine, visualize, like yourself performing again in a wheelchair?
Of course. No doubt. I know in my current situation now, there's no way I can stand up more than like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Max.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I'm like
Okay.
wheelchair bound pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like it may take time with physio and the Ocrevus, they call it. It's kind of like a chemotherapy. It kind of destroys your immune system to then disrupt the B cells, which they believe is one of the reasons that is causing MS. And they just put in good B cells by destroying some other B cells. So it does weaken my immune system. So I probably won't be able to tour as long and frequently as I did. I can be a bit more selective, and the conditions will have to change. But the stuff we're going to be coming out with shortly, I would say in the next end of the year, it might bring a different aspect of the band's life. And a new chapter, where you live with your singer that has multiple sclerosis, but look at the singer of Possessed. He does exactly that, and he performed, and he never fucking gave up. And I have a high amount of respect for that. So I kind of see myself in that direction as well. So yeah, I'm up for it anytime.
Does singing tires you?
You got to keep your practice game. Smoking doesn't help. Like, I was a frequent weed smoker. I still am, but I do it in a different form now. I take oils, edibles, I vape instead of smoking, because, I'm still a cigarette smoker, but I cut down to like 3 cigarettes a day. So, like, you have to work at it to get somewhere, but, I mean, if you love it and it's your passion, you'll do it anyways, because you love it.
I'm excited, and I think that, and honestly, like, I know you're going to do it. I know you. I've known you for a long time. We've toured together back in 2016, I want to say. 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
May of 2015.
Yeah.
That was the last U.S. tour we've done, yeah.
Wow, okay. So I know you're going to do this, and you're going to be an excellent, excellent role model for any other humans that are struggling with what you've been going through.
Yeah. There are times that are dark, but you do everybody struggles with it differently, and everyone lives with MS differently. From one person to another, it's completely different. You guys got similarities, but one person may experience it way different than another person. So I'd be glad to be, like a kind of a spokesman for people who have MS, to then understand that, yeah, times are going to be hard, but like, you have to think about every day it's your last day. And if you think about it that way, you're going to live every day to your fullest. And then you start to understand it, and you kind of like, it's like conquering it within yourself, spiritually and mentally, because I think it's more the mental that is the crazy part about struggling with MS. Yeah, we can walk with a walker, I can go in a wheelchair, but, thinking about, not being able to perform ever, not being able, I mean, mentally that was depressing as hell. But I started jamming recently. I started getting medication, and I pushed myself, and I realized, hell, I can do it. I mean, I'm jamming the album, and the new album is about 50 minutes, and I'm doing every song. So I was like, it's pretty much like a set anyways, or it's like 30 minutes, even less, depending what you're doing. So it's been a challenge, but yeah, you learn to live with it.
Dude. Fucking A.
It's amazing. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Double-edged sword question on the other side for the boys that no longer are consuming. Do you think that you will be able to tour again? And if you do tour again, what will be different?
100%. I can tour. I've done half dozen shows now, and the only thing that really was different was I felt more prepared, I guess. I usually play sober anyways, especially when I'm playing metal stuff, like anything that is faster. I play like 100% sober, at least for the last like 5-6 years I would. So it's just no after show beers. Essentially, like, yeah, that's the only difference. Now I just want some food, like a pizza or something, rather than beverages. That's the only real difference for me. And 100%, I'll be back on the road as soon as the opportunities come. So
looking forward to that. Matt, how about you?
Me, I never toured before. Oh, being on stage, fuck yeah, man! I can't wait to do it. Now that I got back in a good shape, and oh fuck, man, I can't wait to do my little fucking dances with the guitar and shit. Oh man, I miss doing that. And I mean, I recorded quite a bit of music since the last time I played live. And yeah, I'd love to do a show with Stalin. I don't know if it's going to be possible ever, because Mike is back in Boston. And I don't think Mike didn't really want to play live, but fuck. I'm a good salesman, so I could work on that. But Teramobil, I'm writing. We're writing right now another album. I'm taking my sweet fucking time for that, because that's the band I'm always very. I'm hard on myself when I write this shit, and I played with a few other bands that I don't think I'm gonna play live. But yeah, like seriously, play Teramobil live again is one of the things I really want to do. It's not going to happen soon, but maybe within the next year. But yeah, and not drinking. See, I drink often the non-alcoholic beers, but I'll have one. Yeah, sometimes, most of the time when I open the second one, I fucking pour it down the drain anyway. Because, you don't want to drink 12 of those. It's fucking useless. just calories for no fucking reason. It's just stupid. But after shows, no. It's going to be, I'll probably want some food, and that's it, I'll be in a better shape to take the gear back to the Cité 2000 and not want to stay there and, not load the shit, I think it's going to be pretty cool. And I don't think I'm going to be boring because I'm not drunk, because, I like to say stupid shit with the mic, because we don't have a singer. So it's my job. Sometimes, I was good with that. But I'm sharper when I'm not drinking. So I could say even stupider shit now.
I'm looking forward to that. See, that's what I'm looking forward to right there. I want to hear what you're going to say on stage. I love making collabs. I've released 35 beers in the past year. I created teas. I love it. There's something about teaming up with something that I love and putting my stamp on it and then seeing it come to fruition. It excites me. So here's my question to you guys now. If you could make a collab, doesn't have to be a beer. Actually, I'd prefer if it wasn't a beer. What would you make that would be yours that you would love? And I know that Cory wants to do this, so I'll start with him.
That's that's tough because I do want to do a collab with We're Talking Drums, but I just had I'd like to do something with a drum company. Even if it's like a custom snare drum. I think that would be my dream, is to have my own custom snare drum. But that's, I don't know if that would be as much of a collab as much as it would be like a signature series. But
it's still cool.
Yeah. I have just want to bring people together as through videography and audio engineering through a couple of studios that I know and some people. So starting to do video podcasts along with it. So having not necessarily a collab in the traditional sense of we're doing this beer together or something offered that way, but just working together with other people to create something new. And I am starting to work on that, but that is like a big goal of mine, especially through the podcast and doing production and everything, is just to work with like-minded individuals to create something unique and open, and like an open platform for people to discuss stuff, I guess. Yeah.
I love that. I'm looking forward to that coming to fruition and me listening to those, watching this new content that you're going to create. Gore, an Erimha collab. What would be cool for Erimha? What do you think your fans would like to purchase that has Erimha involved in it?
All right. So in the last maybe year and a half, we got a new guitarist in the band. So we're now like a 4-piece band, and we're writing together. And his girlfriend actually makes sauce. So we already have done a collaboration with her for it's kind of like a black garlic kind of sweet barbecue sauce. So we've already started that, but it hasn't came out publicly yet. We've just doing test and trial, and it's an Erimha sauce. It's black. You know, it looks black. It looks really not very pleased, like taste wise, but it's actually really good. So I wanted her to make it a bit more smoky, a bit more, so she's like kind of like just trying out batches, but we were gonna actually release sauces anyways. So that's pretty much what we've decided. I love sauces with meat and all kinds of things. So she makes a really good one, and it happens to be our guitarist's girlfriend. So it just kind of worked out that way, and I'm happy to soon be releasing it.
Matt, what would be a perfect collab for you?
I don't know, man. Well, I've been thinking for a few years to have a podcast, but not something like you. I like something different, maybe something more like funny and shit, and talking shit with people, and yeah.
I think you'd be perfect. Yeah, I'm always laughing with you.
but I just don't know if people would get tired of listening to my stupid shit every 2 weeks. I've been thinking about finding a good partner to do it with, and have people invited to, like every whatever. But it's a project that's it's not going to see the light of day anytime soon, because it's something, if I do it, I want to do it right, and I wanted to I don't want to do something shitty. So takes time to find the right people and the right project and write down maybe like how it's going to be. That would be my collab, I guess, with I don't know who and I don't know when. So it's just pure shit coming out of my mouth right now.
I love it. No. I'd listen to it. We're going to wrap this up. A twist on my classic wrap-up question. I typically ask what hangover cures you have, but you don't need those anymore. So I am curious. It's a lot of fun to party, and we've mentioned that there were some good times, but then there's always the next morning, the hangover that is horrible. So what have you been doing now that you have all this extra time in your life? What is the one thing that you've started doing thanks to the fact that you have all this extra time that not being hungover? What is one thing that you've started doing, a better thing in your life, because you have the extra time in the morning of not suffering for the overexertion the night before? Gore, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be physio. The thing that I find that I'm really like, because my body is kind of shutting down, so I have to kind of like balance it by, a body in motion stays in motion. So, I the more I lie down and do nothing, well, then the more I'm going to. So I think that helps, because if I had a hangover, I would just want to fucking sleep in my bed the whole night, or the whole day too, So I guess it kind of led where I got the perfect amount of hours of sleep, and then I wake up and then I start my day. Being hungover, you don't really start your day the next day.
It's a horrible, horrible moment until the beginning to the end.
Yeah. When you're on tour, it's different, because like you fucking dread that morning, because you're like, oh shit, I drank too much the night before, but then you get on stage again and you have such a good time that it just starts all over again.
It's a reset button.
There's no time for really having a hangover in that.
Yeah, do you just have a big one when you come home?
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? What have you? What all this extra time but not being hungover? What are you doing?
I get up at like 4:30 in the morning, no alarm. So.
Wow. Okay.
My place is already always clean all the time, but I fucking clean for no reason, and I take my sweet time before I go to work. I have my 2 espressos that I try to not drink too fast, and I guess I watch TV in the morning, and I watch my dog sleep, and I don't do shit. I do a little bit of exercise, but not that much. Not enough, and I just get up very, very, very early.
Yeah, that's cocaine. That's why.
Really?
Years of cocaine. That's what it does to you. Yeah, I know all about that.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
The lack of sleep, because you're always high on cocaine. You're going for days and days and days without any sleep.
If you snorted fucking 2 8 balls, you're not your sleep is not that fucking good, with 2 bottles of scotch.
No.
You're like, fuck, man, I don't feel good when I go to bed, and I'm not going to feel good when I get up, and when, for a little while, then you eat shit food, like pizza and poutine and whatever, and it doesn't make you feel any better. Just, comfort food, I guess. But fuck, yeah, all that energy. I used to nap all the time. Like when I was 300 pounds, when I worked on renovation, I would eat like super quick during the lunch, and people, they would be amazed. Like I would be sitting there falling asleep in like 10 seconds, and I snore like crazy. So they would know. They'd watch, okay, shut up, everybody, and start snoring like crazy. 20-minute nap, and then get my fat ass up and start working again. Yeah. That's intense.
It always is with you.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, it's me.
It's who you are. I love it. Cory, what all this extra time that you have now that you're not hungover, what have you been doing?
Well, in the summer months, I started running 5K a day. So like I got really into running. But then I started having like issues with my ankles and stuff, so I started doing other exercises. And right now I do yoga every morning. So that's kind of like my morning routine. I get up and then I do yoga, and I try to do fasting every day. So like I don't eat until like 2 p.m. And yeah, instead of drinking, I just like am trying all of these different kind of like biohacking things, like, you know, like doing yoga every day and fasting and all kinds of different diets. Like I'm pescatarian now, so like I only eat fish. I don't eat chicken or beef or anything. Like, yeah, I'm just trying whatever to keep life interesting, I guess, to a degree.
That's what you have to do until you fucking die, man.
That's it, man. Yeah.
That's a secret right there. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Again, talking about your life, a little bit about your music. We didn't really dig too much into your music, but we will again when I have you back on. Being sober, your journeys, stopping drinking, your new lifestyles. I really, really appreciate it. This was amazing. I'm going to say a massive cheers to you, and I really, really appreciate you guys hanging out with me yet again.
Thanks, buddy. I fucking love you, Matt. I love all you guys.
Cheers.
Let's go do some blow now.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. Man, was this ever a deep, deep conversation. Now, it is very, very interesting to sit down with 3 of your friends, 3 people that you've had deep discussions with in the past, and then rediscover them as if you've peeled back a new layer of who that person is. Massive cheers to Gore, Mathieu, and Cory for being so open about their new lifestyle, and I really, really appreciate them being so honest and open. It was truly an amazing conversation. I cannot wait to hang out with you guys again. I just want to give you guys all a huge, huge thank you so much for being a part of this episode. Now, if you enjoyed this Vox and Hops episode, you should sign up to the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. You could do that on my website, voxandhops.com. That's VOXandHOPS.com. And when you do that, you shall receive 1 email a week, which contains all of the details of everything that has happened throughout the past week in the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. It will have all of the information about any episodes which I dropped throughout that past week. If I've been a guest on someone else's podcasts, you also hear about any projects that I have in the works before I announce them to the public, and you'll get to see all of the albums that Jerry Monk, the metal architect himself, has added to the Brutal Awakenings playlist, which is available on Apple Music and Spotify. You will also get to see all of the album reviews which the Vox and Hops album review crew have dropped throughout that week, and you'll get the updated links to any upcoming Thirsty Thursday virtual hangs. Now, there's just so much going on in the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. I would hate for you to miss a single thing, so please sign up to the mailing list. The Vox and Hops Metal Podcast is brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcast. This is the final episode of Sober February 2022, which was presented by Pitch Black North, the Satanic Tea Company. Massive cheers to Pitch Black North for being so damn cool and presenting this awesome month. I love doing Sober February. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. I will most definitely do this again, but more than that, I'm also going to keep doing sober episodes throughout the next months. I had so many people contact me that wanted to be a part of this that I've decided to just continue it, but with 1 episode a month. I hope you have a glorious weekend. I will be back next week with 1 episode, which will be dropping on Tuesday. But until then, please remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.